Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking at Polestar. GD-backed Polestar pushes back results for a second time in a year as the Swedish car maker battles accounting errors. Do you believe that? I don't believe that. Accounting errors? I'm not buying anything about accounting errors. Seriously. So let's try to understand what exactly is going on. Polestar Automotive Holding UK postponed its fourth quarter and full year earnings report scheduled for Tuesday after the struggling electric vehicle maker identified accounting errors made in a previous year. The misstatement concerned filing for 2021 and 2022. The Swedish origin manufacturer said in a regulation filing they're expected to positively impact the 2021 net loss by less than 5% and negatively impact the net loss by less than 5% for 2022. Now we have a statement from the company, and I quote, "Additional time is needed for company to close its books and records, completes its financial statement preparation, and finalize its review process for the year." So that there. So how is it that other companies are not having this problem? If there are other companies that are having this problem, let me know. Who is it? Is Google having this problem? Okay, Polestar isn't as big as Google. Okay, is Rivian having this problem? Okay, let's be real. Is Lucid having this problem? Let's be real. Is Neo having this problem? BYD? Okay, they're too big. Tesla's too big. Okay. Is Xpeng having this problem? How about Li Auto? Are they having this problem? I don't know. If it's not just Polestar and there's other companies that are having this problem, let me know. I'm really curious. The accounting snarl adds to Polestar issues with cash burn and sluggish auto sale. Since listing in the US in 2022, the EV maker has repeatedly tapped its largest owner, Chinese billionaire Li Shifu, and Volvo Cars AB for funds. Now, a lot of this has recently changed. Volvo has actually stepped away from Polestar financially. They've actually given up a large percentage of the Polestar company. They now own 18% of Polestar, which is still really good. But this was always inevitable. Polestar was always supposed to go more independent. A lot of these financial supports and financial responsibilities are now being taken over by Geely, the main company, the big boss. Geely is basically the VW of Asia. Now that Geely has Polestar, Volvo, and Lotus, they have a few other companies as well. They're building a monument to, pun intended, they're building a monument to be proud of. And this article actually shares that earlier this year, Volvo Cars said it will stop funding Polestar and reduce its stake in a company to protect its balance sheet. There's more to that as well. Polestar is able to go out there in the public and find private funding from other institutions. Now, this makes a lot more sense if Volvo steps away because not a lot of company will want to invest in Polestar if Volvo owns so much and Geely owns so much. That means they have too much control of the company. Polestar needs to be a bit more simplified. One of those companies needs to have less control, giving outside investors more confidence in investing in a company, knowing that, listen, I'm not just going to be the one that's not being listened to if I invest in this company. No one wants to invest in a company where they don't feel like they're being listened to. And thankfully, it looks like Volvo was happy to give up a major percentage of the company and still retain 18%, which is still brilliant. And it's what I always predicted. Now, Polestar shares have plunged more than 60% in the past year amid slowing EV growth and warning risk appetite for new businesses that have struggled scaling up output. Lucid has struggled. Rivian has struggled. Polestar has struggled. They've all struggled. Let's not forget, Tesla used to struggle the same, if not worse. In fact, Tesla had a lot less support. Tesla didn't have Volvo's help. They didn't have Geely's help. Polestar do. And Volvo will continue to support Polestar in research and development, sales and aftermarket, and there's other areas that they probably support Polestar in. So I'm not too particularly worried. If it's a resource straining thing to have too much responsibility for Polestar, by all means, Volvo needs to focus on what Volvo does best, and that's build the best cars in the world. And in that process, they're helping Polestar to build some of the best cars in the world as well. Now, in that being said, can Volvo give up that responsibilities of financial support? Of course they can. It makes perfect sense. Volvo's been doing brilliantly lately. I've spoken about this, and I need to talk about it again, just how well Volvo is doing. Volvo is doing absolutely incredible. Volvo is the next Audi. You might not believe me. In many people's eyes, they already see Volvo very closely related or closely competitive towards Audi, BMW, and Mercedes. The reason I say this is because Audi delivers just around 900,000 vehicles a year. Mercedes is like 1.2 million. BMW is at 1.3 million. And the thing about Mercedes is that they deliver a lot of industrial vehicles, which account for a lot of that percentage and a lot of that 1.2 million vehicle. While BMW, all they deliver is just normal vehicles, maybe bikes as well. I don't think bikes are included in the 1.3 million. But, to think about it, in terms of cars, who's delivering more cars, it's definitely BMW over Mercedes, which is a shock. It's a shock and awe because there a few years ago, 3 4 years ago, it was not this way. Mercedes were leading the way by far. BMW has come back strong, and they've come back stronger than you could ever expected. There was a lot of complaints that the new BMW cars were just the same, just a little bit different, and people were starting to get upset. People are starting to get really used to it, and BMW went through a huge change. That's why you see the bigger BMW grills, the crazy M4 grills. And at first, those were really hated, but now it's like, actually, those M4 grills are actually really like, hmm, they're really like, they're really nice. They're really aggressive, especially if you're a man and men like aggressive cars, So women like more feminine cars, like the Mercedes A-Class, So Mercedes will probably have to go a little bit aggressive, just like BMW, because BMW is going hella aggressive right now. Mercedes will probably have to do something similar. Mercedes have never been the type to do that because Mercedes always goes for luxury. BMW always goes for sporty. Audi always goes for elegance. And now you have Volvo, who's also going for elegance. They're also going for a little bit of luxury, not very sporty. If you want something that's more sporty, you're going to have to look at Polestar cars. Or rather, even more interesting, you can look at the Lotus. These Lotuses that are coming out, they're really hidden. They are really hidden. In fact, I seen one the other day on the motorway. I couldn't believe my eyes. Beautiful vehicles. The Lotus vehicles that are being created right now, my goodness, I'm in love with the exterior and the interior. Seriously. And the sound of Lotus vehicles are truly something to be marveled at. In regards to this filing error, I have no idea if this is ridiculous or if this is just Polestar strategy just delaying the reports. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not just a strategy to delay the reports because if we're being completely honest, the stock is already doing pretty terrible. Um, I say terrible, but in reality it's cheap for us, so we should be thankful. We should be thankful that this stock is so cheap because it's not going to remain cheap forever. Look at all the cheap EV companies right now. They're not going to stay cheap forever. Last Friday, trading day, the market was saying, a lot of people were saying, well, the market on Chinese EV companies are going down. What about Tesla? Is Tesla now a Chinese EV company because it manufactures vehicles in China and because Chinese investors invest in Tesla? Is Tesla now a Chinese EV company because Tesla was also losing valuation on Friday? So, what about that? No one is mentioning that critical part, but I will. Now, the EV maker Polestar, they're relying on new models such as the Polestar 4 and Polestar 3 to boost sales. And I think this will work like a charm. I think it will be perfect. I don't just think that sales will be boosted. I think that 100,000+ vehicles being delivered next year for Polestar, almost a guarantee. This company is going from a one car company to a three-car company. That's going to be fundamental for its success throughout the near future and long term future as well. Key thing about the Polestar 3 and Polestar 4, these cars are almost future proof. That's the real genius of them is that when I look at these cars inside and out, what I see is a car that's future proof because software is becoming a more important thing in smart vehicles, electric vehicles, companies now have to realize the heavy reliance customers have on software in their vehicles and the opportunity this represents for companies like Tesla, Polestar, Rivian, that you now have an opportunity to sell software upgrades, software updates, or performance upgrades. You can now utilize that in-car software to your benefit. There was a time this wasn't a real possibility. Now it is. BMW is charging people for seat warmers, as ridiculous as that sounds, but believe it or not, That's the future. Get used to it. Honestly, that's the future, and there's no stopping this inevitable future. There is no stopping it. Not all companies will do this. Not all companies will take it that far, but expect companies to utilize the in-car software to their benefits. And a lot of these softwares, these companies like Mercedes, BMW, Audis, they've had a lot of these high softwares, very high-tech softwares in their cars for many years. But only few cars will get these softwares because the software is expensive. So the more expensive the cars will get them. You know, BMW has had technology where they can remote start cars for a very long time, and only now that's becoming more popular in Teslas or EVs, you know, or even just regular cars. It's becoming more common. But there was a time you were like, "What? You could remote start a car?" No, they can't. Yes, they can. They've been doing this for a very long time. When I say a very long time, over a decade, possibly even longer than that. This is technology, and it's really going to change the way we deal with vehicles. So, despite all of this negativity around Polestar, they did manage to raise 950 million. This article says in debt, but it's a loan to help finance its future vehicle rollouts. It's also debt because loan is debt. Your mortgage is debt. Your car finance, it's debt. Everything in this ecosystem, in this society, our systems, they all run on debt, financial debt. And that's what it is. It's also reported mute deliveries for the first quarter, making the already significant ramp up required even steeper than initially expected. Bernstein analyst Daniel Rosheka said in a note earlier this month. So I have been hearing about this on the internet, and I still don't know how to react, you know. You know, hopefully we can understand why they've chosen to delay their reports. They're saying it's because of errors, but we need something a bit more conclusive than that. We do need something a little bit more conclusive. And don't tell me I don't have the right to know this because I'm an investor in Polestar, which gives me the damn right. It's a public company. Public company, it's in the name. It's a public company. Public must be made aware of its situations. Not all situations, but a lot of its situations. I'll end the video here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Hope you like the new setup I'm doing. It's a new camera, portrait, you know. I hope it's nice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.